Hello everybody and welcome to That's Football, another video, another bit of big news. Harry Kane has signed a 6-year contract to keep him at Spurs for 6 years, funnily enough. That's what 6-year contracts tend to mean. My personal thought on this is that it is obviously very newsworthy. He's probably the star man in the World Cup for England, and I've always, if you've been watching That's Football this season, we've covered back in the Champions League, we were doing the watch-alongs for the group that Spurs were in with Borussia Dortmund and Real Madrid. I've watched a lot of Real Madrid this season, and I really do believe that Harry Kane has made a big mistake here. I think he'd fit Real Madrid like an absolute glove. And I'm a little bit older than a lot of you, and I know this will upset Spurs fans, and I don't mean to do that. But I have to say what I think, and then we'll take your comments. That I just think this is typical of English players showing a lack of ambition, really. I mean, not many English players go abroad. I mean, Gareth Bale's abroad at the moment, but not many English players do. You can probably count them on two hands, the amount of people who've done it in the last 20 years. It very rarely happens. And you've got an opportunity there for Harry Kane. Well, not a definite opportunity, but I certainly think Real Madrid would be looking at him and thinking, I mean, Harry Kane has been ridiculously prolific in the Premier League for the last 2 years. This year that's just gone, he's scored goals in the Champions League as well. At Real Madrid, he would score a lot of goals. He's a worker as well. And at Real Madrid, if you're a number 9 who works hard for the rest of the team as well as score goals, he'd be absolutely perfect for them. And he signs a 6-year contract at Spurs, which I can see people like Spurs fans obviously very, very happy, well done. And I can see people going, what a great lad Harry Kane is, showing loyalty to Spurs. And yeah, I totally applaud and I do agree with that. But he's never going to win a league title at Spurs. He's never going to win a Champions League at Spurs. And we can come back to this video in 2, 3, 4, 5 years' time. And you can say, but he's won a treble or whatever. I'm more than happy to state he will never do that. And I like Spurs. I'm a Manchester United fan, but out of every other English team in the Champions League this year, the only one I would have wanted to do was Spurs. I think they're an inoffensive club, and I do like the way Pochettino plays. But they've got the same problem as Arsenal. They have never been in a title race. They've never been in anything like a pressure situation for big major trophies. And they are a little bit, but they do tend to bottle it. I mean, they bottled it against United in an FA Cup semi-final at their own ground. So I just think all Harry Kane's done there is commit his future to a team that he's not going to win major titles with, and also made it very, very difficult that if he does want to leave, Spurs have got him now, absolutely got him by the balls, because Daniel Levy's brilliant. He's done a brilliant bit of business there. But if anybody does come in for Harry Kane, you're going to have to pay northward of £200 million because he's in a massive contract now. 6 years. Imagine if Harry Kane has a brilliant World Cup, a brilliant season for Spurs next year, and Real Madrid come sniffing. It's 200 million. 200 million straight away. And that puts him in a very, very... he's not such an attractive proposition now. And I think, reading between the lines, just want to take some of your... Rahul says he probably wants a trophyless career. To me, it just looks like Harry Kane's committing his future to Spurs, the rest of his career. And I think that's massive. I mean, recently we've seen people make that mistake. Alan Shearer. Now, Alan Shearer did win the Premier League title at Blackburn, but he had 2 opportunities to come and play for United. He turned them down. He went to Blackburn. Fair enough, he won a title. Then he went to Newcastle. And yeah, he scored a lot of goals at Newcastle, and he broke the Premier League all-time goal-scoring record. And maybe Harry Kane will do that at Spurs. But it was a waste of his career. Shearer should have been playing for the top teams in Europe. I mean, if not Manchester United, he should have gone abroad. And I, as somebody who's been watching football for a very, very long time, obviously I'm very passionate about my club, but I'm very passionate about football in general. I would have loved, as an Englishman, to have seen Harry Kane go and play for Real Madrid. I would have loved it. I would have been proud of it. I would have been like, wow, we've got one of the top strikers in the world playing for one of the top teams in the world, for the top titles in the world. Gary Lineker did it many years ago at Barcelona. I would love to have seen Harry Kane do that. And as I say, I've got nothing against Spurs. I like them as a team. But looking at this, in an honest opinion, to me, it looks like Harry Kane's committing the rest of his career to Spurs. And if he's not, he's pricing himself out of any move because he's going to be ridiculously expensive. And I don't think Harry Kane's ever going to win a major trophy at Spurs. So Spurs fans will be ecstatic, but what do you think? Take away any rivalry, take away anything like that. Let's get in the live comments. What do you think about this contract for Harry Kane? Because there seems to be a lot of people in the media saying, oh, it's a great site, it's a great contract, it's well done to Harry Kane, showing loyalty to Spurs. I think he's shown enough loyalty to Spurs. I think as a footballer, you've sometimes got to look at a situation and go, am I playing at the level I need to be? And I think Harry Kane's not anymore. I think he's above Spurs. I think he's... Is there anybody better for him in England than Spurs? Manchester United would be a status move, so I don't necessarily think he needs to do that. But he should be looking at the Real Madrids. He should be looking at the Barcelonas. That's where he should be looking at. He is that good at the moment. I think he's made a mistake. Louise says she agrees. Ryan Griffith says, I'm proud of my man Gareth Bale. Yeah, I mean, look at Gareth Bale. Again, I'm mentioning Shearer. There is a better example for Harry Kane to look at. Gareth Bale basically was doing what Harry Kane's done at Spurs for the last 2 years, went to Real Madrid and stamped his authority on the world stage. Harry Kane should be looking at what Gareth Bale did, not committing himself to Spurs. I think he's made a massive mistake. I really do. That's not to say... I mean, I've seen some people say, well, all he's doing is making sure Spurs get a lot of money for him when he goes. He was already... He'd signed his last contract extension around about 18 months ago. He was already in a big contract. It wasn't like he was coming towards the end of his contract. He was already in a big contract. What he's done with this contract is gone to a big contract with a big wage increase. And I've had my say. Darren Sweetman says, let's be honest, contracts mean nothing. Well, they do, Darren, because what effect, especially when you're playing for Spurs, Harry Kane was potentially about 150 million. That new contract knocks him north of 200 million. It puts a lot of people off. Jovan says they want to be a big club, but they're not. Look, you've got to look at it from that way. Of course, you've got to look at it from that way. From a Spurs perspective, it's exciting. They hopefully are going to invest around that squad. They need to invest. I mean, let's be fair. Let's just, instead of saying Spurs aren't going to win titles, what do Spurs need to do to win titles? I think they need to have a proper... I mean, Spurs should have won the league when Chelsea won it, and they should have won the league when Leicester won it. They were the best teams in the league that year, and they for some reason didn't get close. Last year, they weren't. But what have Spurs got to do to win a league? They've got to get a backbone. They've got to understand winning. They've got to learn how to win games in the big games when the pressure's on. And I don't see them getting anywhere near at the moment. I think United are going in the right direction. City are already in the right direction. Liverpool are moving in the right direction. I think Chelsea are going to come back. I can envisage a scenario next season where Spurs are battling for fourth with Chelsea and United and Liverpool. I mean, City, and maybe even City. But I don't think it. I can't see Spurs winning a title. I really can't. And Ryan Griffiths makes a good point as well. Spurs, regardless of Kane, Spurs will lose players in the next few seasons if they don't win any trophies. Yeah, I think Eriksen, Dele Alli, quite a few others. Yeah, I do. I think they will do. But I don't want to beat up on Spurs. I like Spurs as a team. I really like Pochettino. I like the football they play. I just would have liked to have seen Harry Kane go to Real Madrid because I think he's that good. And I think it would have been great to have a proper English or British, whatever you want to call it, Premier League export going out of the Premier League into La Liga, high profile club. I think it would have been great to do that, and it frustrates me how few British players do it. So many players come into our league. Why aren't some of our players going out there if we've got the talent? And England players can't leave England. Why they won't be able to play for the national team? That's what I heard, says Jovan, but that's nonsense. Harry Kane's dumb enough to stay at a trophyless club, says Pankaj. And Mark, I'm a Man United fan. Respect to Kane. He is committed to Tottenham, who he supports. Shearer did the same thing with Newcastle. Their mentality is if someone is going to bring them success, it's them. And it's a wrong mentality, Wazim. It's a wrong mentality. I'm more than happy to say Harry Kane will not win major titles at Spurs. And I think you get one football career. He's blessed to have the talent he's got. Go and do it at the big teams. Look at what Ronaldo did. I mean, Kane's nothing like Ronaldo, but Ronaldo won the Champions League at Manchester United. He won the Premier Leagues, and then he was like, now I'm going to go to Real Madrid. Even though he was winning Premier Leagues and Champions Leagues in the Premier League, I'm going to Real Madrid now because I'm going to go to the next level. And I think as a footballer, if your club that you support can't provide you with that, you should do that. Otherwise, it's showing a lack of ambition. It's showing a lack of ambition. And he's good enough. Harry Kane is good enough. And I think Harry Kane could have gone to Real Madrid this summer. I've watched a lot of Real Madrid this year. Benzema's finished. They need a number 9. They're looking at Lewandowski. They're looking at Icardi. They're looking at Neymar. Harry Kane would be bloody perfect for them. And it's a shame. It's a shame. He's wasting his talent. I think Harry Kane will get a title shot at WrestleMania after signing the contract, says Luke's World. We're just talking about Harry Kane signed the 6-year contract at Spurs. It's breaking news in the last half an hour. The reason we've gone live is because it's quite big news. But also, I personally am disappointed by it. But I wanted to get everybody else's opinion because that's the point of That's Football as well. Obviously, we'll go live on the transfer news and everything like that. But if there's a big talking point, I want to go live. I want to get people's thoughts because that's football. And the most important people in football are you, the fans. So I want to know what people feel about it. And we've already had different opinions. Fekir is close to being complete, says Joshua Jackas. Well, we did the video this morning. I know Leon made an official statement saying it wasn't going to happen. If you understand transfers and politics, they're a public listed company as far as I remember with Leon. So they've got shares and everything like that. They can't have rumours like that dropping before they release it. So it's all a little bit political. But Fekir will go to Liverpool. Of course he will. Spurs are a good team. They could win the EPL in the next year or so, but that is unlikely, says Tippy. Yeah, I think they had their chance, Spurs. I think they've had their chance. I think they'll always be a good team, but I don't think they'll make it. Kane is loyal, says Kieran Holmeson. Yes, and loyalty should be applauded, but loyalty sometimes can be stupid. It can. You can be loyal to something that's never going to make you achieve. And yes, you're loyal, but what does loyalty get you? I mean, he's going to earn good money. He's going to be the main man at Spurs. But when he's retired, is that Harry Kane makes Harry Kane's decisions, and that is right. But I just think that Harry Kane could be winning Champions Leagues at Real Madrid. That's what he should be looking to do. He should be England's #1 export, doing it worldwide stage. And maybe he just lacks that ambition and drive to do that. How long is De Gea's contract? I've got no idea. Bigger picture is Spurs broke the wage structure. That's the big news here, says Fred Flintstone. Yes. I mean, that is a very good point from Fred, because if I was a Spurs fan, I would be thinking, right, that's a massive, exciting commitment. Now let's go and get some other players. We've broken the wage structure. Let's go and get big players. And maybe that's what Levy and Spurs are looking at. Maybe they're looking at Liverpool and thinking, all right, Salah got you to a Champions League final. You were very, very close. But over the last 3 years, we're consistently better than Liverpool. But Liverpool are bringing in big players. We're in London. We've got a brand new stadium that craps all over Liverpool. But Liverpool are bringing in these big players and they're getting the status. And maybe that's what Spurs are thinking. You know what? Forget Liverpool. We should be doing that as well. Because Liverpool and Spurs and Chelsea, they're all competing for the same thing at the moment. United are slightly ahead of them in second and City are a long way ahead. So, yeah. Nothing on United at the moment, Shaheen. What if Harry Kane wants to become the Ryan Giggs of Spurs, says Shaban? Well, he's never going to do that. Ryan Giggs was winning titles as a teenager. Harry Kane's is in his 20s and he's never won a title and he's nowhere near it. So, you know, I just think Harry Kane could do better, but maybe Spurs are going to do something. Spurs are doing good compared to PSG. I don't know where you're going with that. You'll have to give us a little bit more. Spurs lack a big club mentality. It's not the players, says Pankaj. Misplaced loyalty, to be honest, says Pratik. Loyalty does not win you trophies, says Dr. Chunky Biscuit. I couldn't have put it any better. Great comment there, Doc. It's all about opinion, isn't it? My opinion is, people might see this as negative on Harry Kane. Actually, I'm bigging Harry Kane up. I'm saying he's way better than Spurs. Don't tie yourself down to a 6-year contract and waste your career at Spurs. Go to Real Madrid. You're good enough. That's where he should be going. And I'm sorry to say that to Spurs, but I just don't see you winning a title. I like you as a team. I think the football you play is great. But when the going gets tough, I watched the Juventus. We did the watch along of the Juventus here. You battered them in Turin, but you came away with nothing. And then at Wembley, they turned you over with experience. You're a better team than Juventus. They turned you over and knocked you out. FA Cup semi-final. You're a better team than Man United. Mourinho turned you over with experience. That's Spurs' problem. And it doesn't matter how good the football is, doesn't matter how long Harry Kane stays, until Spurs get a backbone and some experience in that team of winning, which they don't have. How do you do that? I mean, they're going to sell Alderweireld, who's experienced, and Dembele, who's experienced. They're linked to an 18-year-old from Ajax, who's probably a great player, who will go there, be consistent as a young player, but quite good. But he won't have the experience to win him a title. And in 6 years, he'll go off to Real Madrid or something like that. Spurs need to change what they're doing. They need to bring some winners into that team. Instead of going and buying Lamellas and Ericssons and bringing Dele Alli through and people like that. Where's your winners? Where's your players that are winners? Go and buy somebody who's a winner. Bring somebody into that team who's a born winner. 2 or 3 players. But that's the Spurs problem for me. And I think that's the Pochettino problem. Pochettino got a great reputation at Southampton and Spurs, and he's done great things with the youth, and he's built good football teams. Where's your medals, Poch? Where's your medals? That's the problem with Spurs. And I don't see that changing. I really don't. And that's why Harry Kane, for me, should be looking to go to a club where he can win titles. But we'll see what happens with it. Maybe I'll get proved wrong. Mark, we did business with Spurs on 2 occasions, Berbatov, and I think we sold Zaha to them. No, we didn't. Zaha went to Everton, Jack. Could have been like Bale or Modric, says Joe Kitoni. Well, yeah, the path is there. There's a great link up between Spurs and Real Madrid. And let's not forget as well, he could have a buyout clause. He could have a clause in his contract that if somebody offers 200 million, I can go. So we don't know that. And I would hope that he's got that. Casey Stoney is the new women's manager at Manchester United. Yeah, which is great. Really good comments from her. Anyway, I've had my say. Live comments have been brilliant as ever. Please do give us your comments below because I think it's a divider. What are your thoughts on Harry Kane staying at Spurs? Do you think it's great loyalty? Do you think it lacks ambition? Do you think he should have been looking to go to Real Madrid because he's ready now? Because in my mind, he's had 2 brilliant seasons. He's scored in the Champions League this year. He's leading the line for England in the World Cup. He should be looking at Real Madrid. They would be perfect for him. That's where he should be looking to go. And committing to Spurs for 6 years, obviously he might not be there for 6 years, but I think it does lack ambition as far as I'm concerned. Anyway, I'll end it there. We've got a 7:30 show tonight, transfer show, half an hour with Xander, where you can give your thoughts on that. But I'm going to end it here. Thanks everyone for watching. Please do subscribe to the channel, drop a like, get your comments in below. I'm off over onto my channel now, Goldbridge live stream. That's why I'm ending a little bit earlier, because I'm going to do another World Cup challenge. So if you want to join me over there and continue the conversation, Goldbridge live stream is my channel. We're going to do a World Cup FIFA 18 challenge. There's a live comments on there. I'll speak to you soon.